From the perspective of pain treatment, it's true that marijuana is not the only useful drug, and indeed some argue that patients should just go to their doctors and get appropriate pain medication without needing marijuana. But is it true that more conventional pain medications are available to the patients who need them?
Whoever it was that needed the medicine can't get it, and then they can't go back to work. And your life is suddenly turned upside down. My name is Sioban Reynolds, and I am the president of the Pain Relief Network. My ex-husband, who I still take care of, he's my son's father, developed a very serious chronic pain problem early in our marriage. And it was almost impossible to get him opioid pain drugs. And I got more and more educated about it and found out that these are the best drugs, they're the safest drugs, but you can't get them. And you get abused by physicians for trying to ask for them. And you find out rather quickly that your life falls apart. You know, first we were living under the torment of being, you know, in need of pain medication during a drug war. Then we finally got enough treatment for him. Then that doctor got attacked and finally federally prosecuted and put in prison for 25 years.
The doctor in this case was William Hurowitz. By accounts of the patients who testified at his trial, and by others who have been treated by him, Dr. Hurowitz was a good and caring doctor. However, another physician, Dr. Michael Ashburn, who was paid more than $40,000 to testify for the prosecution, said that Dr. Hurowitz was not closely monitoring his patients and that he prescribed outside the bounds of medicine. Later, Dr. Russell K. Portnoy, chairman of the Department of Pain Medicine and Palliative Care at Beth Israel Medical Center in New York, and also a past president of the American Pain Society, wrote a letter to Hurowitz's attorney, saying that Dr. Ashburn was seriously misrepresenting the consensus in the medical profession, and that his testimony will undermine the welfare of patients who suffer in chronic pain. The letter was signed by Portnoy and 5 previous presidents of the American Pain Society.
While the theory is that they're not regulating medicine, clearly anything with that much disincentive in it, you know, and the ability to cause doctors to not prescribe, clearly that's a regulatory impulse or force, and we hold that responsible for the undertreatment of pain in the United States.
To these ends, Sioban Reynolds started the Pain Relief Network, which is now a rallying point to encourage legislators to step in and stop what has been called the DEA's new war on doctors.
We are an organization that has come together to kick the DEA out of their regulation of medicine as regards pain treatment in the United States.
And it's an important issue. According to the National Pain Survey, conducted for Ortho McNeil Pharmaceutical in 1999, each year 48 million people suffer from chronic pain lasting 6 months or longer. Also in 1999, the American Pain Society, American Academy of Pain Medicine, and Janssen Pharmaceutica conducted a study that found only 1 in 4 of those with pain received adequate treatment. A Journal of the American Medical Association study found that 26% of nursing home cancer patients with pain were given nothing to treat it, not even aspirin. On top of that, the National Institutes of Health estimates pain costing over $100 billion a year in medical expenses, lost wages, and other costs. And another Ortho McNeil study found 50 million workdays were lost because of pain in 1995. However, due to DEA involvement in the prescribing activities of medical professionals, the broad and reaching effects of this are not only doctors in prison, but doctors so afraid of prison that they refuse to offer treatment to people who need it.
Supposedly, they only go after physicians who commit crimes. In other words, the Congress gave them the power to go after doctors who are not practicing medicine, who are using their ability to practice medicine in order to deal drugs. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody realized that in giving them that authority, what they did was gave them the authority to look at medical practices, decide if they're medicine or not, and if they think, in their judgment, being, you know, drug cops with no education, that a doctor is not practicing medicine, that a doctor is instead dealing drugs, they then bring massive federal criminal prosecutions.
DEA Administrator Karen Tandy has been quite vocal on this topic. Here are some things she said in response to criticism. Drugs are diverted a number of ways, through pharmacy robberies, prescription forgeries, and fraudulent internet sales. Doctors are a very small part of the problem. However, estimates are running that 5,600 doctors have been investigated and 450 prosecuted over the past 6 years, and the DEA's own website says, illegal acts by physicians and pharmacists are the primary sources of diverted pharmaceuticals available in the illicit market. So which is it, Karen? Are doctors a very small part of the problem, or a primary source of diverted pharmaceuticals? These mixed messages can be confusing. In another example, in a USA Today story, Karen Tandy was quoted as saying, "Doctors acting in good faith and in accordance with established medical norms should remain confident in their ability to prescribe appropriate pain medications." However, the jury foreman in Horowitz's trial found he was acting in good faith, and on the counts on which that was allowed as a defense, he was found not guilty. Even the jury foreman himself said that he didn't believe Horowitz was running a criminal enterprise. A key problem may be that the DEA is not made up of medical professionals, but people who are paid to track down and arrest those involved in drug trafficking. One piece of evidence in the Horowitz trial was a pamphlet put out by the DEA entitled "Prescription Pain Medications, Frequently Asked Questions and Answers for Healthcare Professionals and Law Enforcement Personnel." The fact sheet, which was created in tandem with over a dozen doctors, physicians, and medical personnel, was a forthright piece and made the important conclusion that professional judgment must serve the patient's needs first and foremost. Stereotypes of what an abuser looks like can harm legitimate patients because people who abuse prescription medication can exhibit some of the same behaviors as patients who have unrelieved pain. During the Horowitz trial, his attorneys attempted to use the information in the document to show that the good doctor was acting well within guidelines the DEA itself released. Shortly thereafter, even though the DEA put it prominently on its website, and even though it was overseen for over a year by DEA officials and people from the medical community, the pamphlet was removed from the website, with the agency's explanation that it had misstatements and was not approved as an official statement of the agency. So now we're faced with a difficult question. Which is worse, millions of patients who suffer without receiving adequate pain treatment, or far fewer patients suffering with some drug addicts successfully deceiving doctors? Personally, I'll take deceived doctors over a gutted medical profession any day.